you now, you're alive. Oh, look at.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of Be, where I jump on every week and I go through a topic to help encourage us to be the best version of us possible so we can live our best lives and live to our fullest potentials. So this week I'm going to be talking about being kind. Now, when I set out to do this channel, I did not anticipate this being a topic, but I don't know, like with pandemics and financial crisis and cost of living crisis and all that sort of stuff, it seems like everyone forgot how to be kind. And it's kind of like, you know, I've got kids. This is something I talk to my kids about all the time. Guys, be kind, like they're boys. It's not natural, I don't know. And it's constantly reminding them, you need to be kind, you know, use kind words and things, you know, and, you know, is that a kind thing to say? Was that a kind action? Is that being kind? Like, it's all those sort of things we say to our children. Yet it seems like over the last few years especially that people have forgotten. And it's like you get to adulthood and you decide, well, who gives a rip? You know, I don't need to be kind. And they say whatever is on their mind, regardless of how hurtful or damaging it can be, you know, and they may be even saying things that aren't even true. You know, and it's just not okay. Okay, so we are going to be talking about being kind, and it's kind of been like that reminder of what being kind is. And it's not even just about being kind to others, because we first off have to be kind to us. If we can't be kind to ourselves, then we cannot be kind to others, because that flow on effect to being kind to other people comes from us being in a kind-hearted person. So we need to be treating ourselves with kindness. Mark Twain, I don't know how to pronounce it, has said, kindness is that language which deaf people can hear and the blind can see. And honestly, you cannot sum up kindness any better than that. And it is really what makes a person such a beautiful person, regardless of how they look. It's that kind-heartedness of a person that just makes them so beautiful. And being kind is just one of those things that is so important for us to be able to do in life. It makes a huge difference in our own lives, and it makes a huge difference in the lives of those that we come into contact with. Kindness has that ripple effect. Like, you think about those times you've been down the beach or you're at a lake or something and you throw a stone in it and it creates that ripples. And that's exactly what kindness does. When we start with being kind to ourselves, then we flow on naturally to being kind to others, and then they're kind to others and they're kind, and it just spreads that chain of positivity around. And that's what we want to be doing. We want to be people who have that contagious kindness that they just catch hold of and they spread around. So firstly, let's look at how to be kind to ourselves. Okay, because this is probably something that we don't normally do very well. Okay. Being kind to ourselves can have that positive impact into our mental health, our physical health, our overall well-being, okay, our wellness. Plus, it helps us to be kind to others naturally, like I said. Treating ourselves with kindness is being compassionate towards ourselves. It's being kind to our own thought lives, our own emotions, being aware of the things that we are going through and allowing ourselves a little bit of grace and a little bit of kindness when we are going through hard times, because let's be honest, life is not always easy, okay? So realizing the days that are really tough and just being kind to ourselves rather than beating ourselves up over it. Being kind to ourselves when we're going through those really hard, tough times, and, you know, just allow ourselves to do what we need to do to bring center into ourselves again. Being kind to ourselves helps us feel more confident. It helps us be more resilient and be more motivated. As well as being kind to ourselves, it helps us reduce our stress because we are stopped going, I have to. And I tell you what, mums do this really well. They have this great big to-do list and we sit there and we're going, but I've got to get this done. And sometimes that's not realistic. Okay, mums, especially. Okay, I know this because I do it all the time. So knowing what we can do and not beating ourselves up over the things that we can't get done, because, you know, when we've got kids especially, things don't always work as clockwork or stick to the timelines that we plan. Okay, and I was chatting with a client today. I was baking a cake this morning for my kids' lunchbox, and it was just a quick packet mix. And I love this one because, one, the kids love it. Two, because I can literally just throw the cake mix in, some eggs, some milk, and butter, whip it up 5 minutes, and then I can chuck it in the oven and forget about it for the next 40 minutes and get on with doing other things. But this was my classic example of, you know, kids make things take longer, because my 5 minutes to make a cake ended up taking me about 20 minutes, because even though I got up early, I was having to go and tend to a kid who had woken up from bad dreams or this and that. And so it took way longer. So don't beat yourselves up when the things don't go to plan, okay? Be kind to yourself. Make adjustments when needed. Otherwise, you're just going to stress yourself out. Being kind to yourself is also being kind to your thoughts. So when you have that negative thought go through your mind, you just go, you can stop right there. Thank you very much. I just had that Spice Girls song go through my head. I'm not going to sing it. But you stop those negative thoughts right in their tracks. Okay, and you flip it around. So if it's like, oh, you know, I'm ugly, or I'm fat, or I'm hopeless, I'm never going to amount to anything, or whatever that negative thought is, stop it. And you flip it around and go, you know what? I'm having a bad hair day, but that's okay. It's winter here in New Zealand, and that's what beanies are for, okay? Yep, okay, I'm not feeling so great in my body today, but today I can turn that around a little bit, and I can drink more water, I can eat more fruit, eat more whole foods, and I can start making today a better day towards working towards my health goals, okay? Those thoughts of, excuse me, I'm not going to amount to anything. You know what? I'm a solo mum of 3 kids. They are my priority. And you know what? Maybe it will take me a little longer to get where I want to go because I need to attend to them. Whatever it is, turn the script around to being a positive thought. Acknowledge that, you know, sometimes things are hard and not going to plan, but that's okay. You don't have to beat yourself up over about it, okay? Be kind to yourself. Allow those times to have those moments of refreshing yourself. So doing the things that light you up, that make you, you know, bubble and have that zest for life again. Okay, maybe it's going walking in the bush with your kids or your partner or your friends. Maybe it's going camping or sitting by a creek. Maybe it's going horse riding. That's my thing. Maybe it's crafting, reading a book, having a spa bath, whatever it is. Do the thing that refreshes you, okay? Because that is where you're going to bring that wellness of life out, okay? Respecting your own boundaries and, you know, having those boundaries in place where, you know, you don't allow that negativity or those negative voices or the people who are just so draining and they are there just to drain on you and they don't give anything back. Have some boundaries to protect yourself. Excuse me. Okay, so that is some things that we can do to show kindness to us. Once we kind of get this happening, it is going to be so much easier to show kindness to other people. Okay, so showing kindness to other people can be as simple as listening actively to them. Okay, they're coming to you, they're sharing about stuff that's going on in their life, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing or just a hard time that they're going through, but they're wanting to share it with you. The least you can do is give them your time, be an active listener, and don't just sit there going, oh, when are they going to stop talking? Or when are they going to take a breath so I can jump in and share what I want to speak about or anything else? No, be part of the conversation. Be excited for them if they're going through great things or, they're achieving huge milestones or overcome something. Be there and celebrate with them. Okay, if they're going through the hard times, be there with them. Because you'll be that person that they'll reflect back on and go, you know what, I'm so grateful for da-da-da-da-da because they were there when I was going through da-da-da-da-da. Okay, we all need those people. It can just be as simple as showing appreciation and complimenting people. Oh, I was meaning to bring it in. And this is one of my things of showing how we can show kindness to people is just to give them a little note of encouragement and showing appreciation for something that they've done. And a few years ago, I think it was back in 2019, I was working at this cafe where we had a lot of tourists coming through. And we had these two girls come in. I think they were from the UK from memory. And they'd been traveling around New Zealand for a few weeks. And they were just getting ready, to finish their travels off, and then they were going to fly out of Auckland to go to Australia. Now, I'm from Australia, so obviously we had a fair bit to talk about. And it was around the time just when all the big bushfires had started on the eastern coast of Victoria back in 2019. The big devastating fires that started from Meetung in Victoria and it went all up the east coast. Very, very tragic time. And so we're talking about where to go, where to avoid, what to do, all that sort of stuff. And I was able just to give them a few insights. But when they left, they had left this little note on the table saying, thanks to the Aussie chick, thanks so much Aussie chick for having a chat and giving us some insights. We really appreciate you. And I still got that note 4 years later, sitting on my wall in my bedroom. And it's something I reflect back to. And it was like, yeah, I remember that time. And, those girls were so amazing. I don't know their names. I don't have them on Facebook or Instagram or anything. I'll probably never ever see them again. But you know what? We got to touch base, and obviously I left an impact on them, and they've left an impact on me because of that little note that they left me. Okay, so just doing something little like that can make a huge difference. Okay, other ways we can show kindness is just simply giving a compliment. It takes 2 seconds to say, hey, you look really pretty today, or I like that shirt, or hey, you did that really well. Man, you smashed it. Like 2 seconds to give a compliment to someone. No effort, costs nothing. Okay, kindness is free. Okay, so give that compliment, because even though it will take 2 seconds and it might not mean anything to you, you might be just going, hey, they're really cool earrings. I really like them. You might never see that person again, but you know what? That person will remember it. Or, hey, they really liked how I did this, or something I made or did, or whatever it is. It will leave a lasting impact on them. Okay, offering up a smile or saying hi to someone you pass. Okay, we do walks, a few of us girls walk during the week, and we just say good day to people that we pass. Don't know them. Sometimes we see them every time, sometimes we will never see them again. But It's just sharing that little bit of kindness in everything that we do. It can be something as simple as holding the door open for someone, or giving up your seat, particularly on public transport or in a waiting room. Volunteering, like for, in a charity or community service, or soup kitchen, homeless shelter. Like, you don't know what other people are going through. You don't know what other people have been through. So be really careful that you don't sit there and go, well, all homeless people are dropouts or drop kicks or alcoholics or druggies or blah, 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 blah. Some choose the homeless life. This is a little bit of a side note, but I used to do youth work and social work, and I've heard all the criticisms about people who are homeless. Some choose the homeless life for whatever reason, and that's their business. Some have not chosen that life. They have been a person who has fallen victim to whatever situation where they've lost their jobs, they've lost their homes, they've lost their families. They've literally lost everything for whatever reason, whatever it was that happened. It could be domestic abuse. It could be a family fallout. It could be, they've had their parents suddenly pass away, and, they're in their late teens, early 20s, and had nowhere to go. They had no family to go to. I've heard of people who are really successful people, but because of something else that happened, it meant they lost their job, or they lost their home. And then because they lost their home and they weren't able to get good sleep, they weren't performing in their jobs, and they weren't keeping up with the high life or the high expectations in their roles, and they lost their jobs. And it was like this snowball effect, and in the end they've stuck on the street. Okay, so please just be careful never to judge someone for how they're living their life, because you don't know why they are there. Okay, doing something for others isn't going to just make you feel better, but it's also going to mean the world to them. Okay, just remember the person you are sitting next door to, that stranger you meet, that shop assistant, that checkout chick, whoever it is, you don't know what that person is going through. You don't know if they're having a good day, a bad day, if they've just been abused by another customer, whatever it is. But just be kind. It is a powerful thing, and it might just be that thing that they need to hear in that moment. They don't need more criticism. They don't need more judgment. They don't need people telling them, anything else. They've probably heard it all. But sometimes, and they might just be holding it together because life has been really tough for them. Okay, so just keep showing kindness, extending grace, and let's create that ripple effect of kindness around us. Just the way that you would want someone to show kindness for you. And if you've ever been through one of those really life-changing, hard times, you will know how important it is for people to show kindness when you're going through those hard times. I know I've been there, and I've had the people who have just been really brutal and rude because they didn't know what I was going through, and I probably wasn't coping the best at the time, but I was doing my best. But all you need is just that one person to come along and just say, you know what, you're doing a good job, or this is looking really good, or you've done this really well done. Share the kindness. It's free. It doesn't cost a thing. Let me encourage you just to continue being kind. Have an awesome week, guys. I'll see you next week.
Look at you.